Hi guys, I hope you're all doing really well. In this video I will show you something that actually a lot of you asked me about how I do it and why my guitars sound the way they do. And this secret is using Serum FX actually in conjunction with something like a neural DSP plugin or my actual amp. This also works with hardware gear. So yeah, let's just get right to it. Before we begin, I will be using this guitar that Strandberg sent me really kindly. They're not really paying me for it and I can't keep it, so I have to send it back. But they've asked me if I want to do a video, take it for a spin and maybe present to you what it can do. And I thought, yeah, why not? And maybe let's just show you something interesting while I'm at it. So yeah, let's just maybe not keep you waiting any longer. So here we are in my computer, in Reaper as always. Actually this is my patch that I've made. That's how it sounds dry. Really nice sound. But yeah, so let's maybe just quickly go through what's happening here. So I'm using the Soul Gate. I like it the way it comes stock. Then the hex drive. These are the settings, so basically no drive. The tones at noon and the levels at max. And I'm not using grind. I find that it just cuts too much low end. If you're in E standard like I am now. Then the third amp. You can just copy the settings, so the master is at like 8, then the presence at 7, bass at like 5.5, middle at 4, treble at 6, and the gain 1 is at 7, 6.5, gain, I'm sorry, this is gain 2, gain 1 is at 6, and the bright switches are like this. You can copy the settings. I'm not really using much of the EQ, like 1 dB of boost here and there, and I'm using third-party IRs. I'm using the Mega Green Pack by ML, so 7B in position D and the 121 in position C. So as I said, really nice sound. Why not just load the Serum FX now? Okay, so that's how it comes stock, no effects. And what I'm gonna do first is load up a filter. And this is like the main secret to it all. I use ring mods before my amp, so let me change that, yeah. And let's go with ring mod, here it is. And how do I set it? This is really important because otherwise this will just sound obnoxious. The way I set it, I set the cutoff to the lowest frequency, the lowest frequency of the root note, so usually the lowest frequency on the guitar. This time I'm in E, standard E, so I will set it to 41 Hz and it will sound a bit better. Almost like a pitch shifter, but not quite. And then I will dial the mix down. I usually go for like 56-58% because this gets you like a really nice blend of the dry signal of this really distinct note and then the ring modded signal, so this really gnarly thing. And this almost sounds like a bass in a mix, so yeah, a lot of people said that, why is your bass so loud? It's not the bass, it's the guitars actually. I've got a pretty subby bass going on with this. But yeah, you can really get that mid-punch to set it right. I tend to use the drive knob a bit also to beef up the whole thing. Really nice. It works great on breakdowns, but not really in normal riffs, so use it with care, but when you use it in the right moments, it can really just destroy the whole thing. In a good way, of course. And what I do next? Sometimes I put a distortion effect with the diode too, so it's kind of like Tube Screamer, but not really. But yeah, it works really nice. I go for the pre-effects with the filter, and then go and cut everything away below like 180, and then dial the drive in. Usually the drive isn't that high because most of the drive and the distortion comes from the amp and from these pedals, so just be careful. It's more of a additional thing rather than the main distortion. Yeah, this one works great. And on the single coils, it's even better. And I think if you wanted to, you could add an EQ if the signal is getting like really muddy, so it's let's say you've just gone nuts with the drive, yeah? So you can hear that it's not really working well. You could like cut the mids here, low mids. Don't cut these high mids, like really ever. And because we're going in front of the amp, you can cut a bit higher. So as you can see, I'm around 400 Hz, so like really high. I wouldn't cut that high after the amp, but it seems to work. So yeah, maybe let's go with that. And then let's add a high shelf just to boost this top end, but like at 2.4K maybe. Nah, I think it's destroying the sound, so let's just leave it like that. Oh yeah, all those gent stereotypes. Got 6 strings, just go on and gent on 1. But yeah, this is like my rhythm tone. It works awesome with low tunings and in a whole mix with bass. And the way I do it is I usually have 2 guitars with ring modes on, and then 2 guitars without that play on single coils. So this gives you a nice blend of this sick effect and a clarity in the mix. You can really tell what's happening and you have this sick effect. The next thing I would do with Serum FX is use it for leads and cleans to add some ambience, some space, but I would process them really similarly, so to speak. So maybe just go with the leads for now. Okay, so here we have our initialized preset, so nothing's going on. And the first thing that I do is usually load in a hyper dimension effect. And what it does, it works like a chorus, but not really. So this will widen the sound, so use it carefully because you don't want to get any phase issues or lose clarity in a mix. So maybe let's just start off with like extreme settings. Oh yeah. And this is my dry tone. You get the idea. So with the hyper dimension on, I'm just using this hyper section for now. We will get to this a bit later. You can see that this is actually clipping, so maybe let me pull the level down. Yeah, so kind of chorusy effect. But maybe let's dial it back a bit. So this widened the sound, and now let's widen it even more. The dimension phase of the effect will give you like kind of a reverb vibes effect. So really short reverb. And it stops as soon as you stop playing. But now let's just dial it back. So the sound is a bit wider, it takes a bit more space, so you don't get like this needle in the middle. You get like a nice block of the sound. Next up, I will add a bit of saturation, but again, it's not supposed to be overdrive or anything like this. It's just a taste. Yeah, that's a bit too much. Maybe let's change it to tape. Make it a bit darker. And dial the mix back. Yeah, it's working really nice. And next up, we can add chorus. Sometimes I do chorus on my leads, but not really that much. It really has to suit the vibe. It gives you that kind of 80s vibe, you know, chorus leads and all that stuff. But maybe I'll omit it now. And focus on delay, probably one of the most popular effects on the guitar. Yeah, change it to 1.8. Maybe dial back the feedback. See for how long it goes. Yeah, not that long. Yeah, that's too much. Yeah, that's nice. Maybe filter it. Again, this gives you clarity. So the delays don't distract you from the main source of the sound. So if you don't filter your delays, I highly recommend to. So maybe make it a bit darker. And now when you play, you can tell that this is the main signal, and then there are a bit darker, a bit mellower delays. Really nice. And to finish off, maybe let's add some reverb, like a nice horn reverb. Just to give it a bit more space. But because we have a lot of delays, I will go with a bit smaller reverb, so just to, you know, balance it a bit. And then add a low cut. Again, if you don't low cut your reverbs, please start doing so. It really just clears up the whole mix, and again, you don't want the low end to be bouncing around. Yeah, that's nice. so sloppy, sorry. Yeah, so I think this sounds great already, but I think we can take it a bit further, maybe with an EQ. But just... Wow, this EQ is so weird. You can tell that I'm not really the guy using EQ in Serum. Yeah, this sounds pretty nasty. Let's take it down. Ah, that's too thin. Yeah, that's okay. And I don't think we need to boost the top end. It sounds pretty good. Wow, breaking a string. That has actually never happened to me. You know what? Yeah, I guess it's time to restring it. Alright, it's been like a minute and I'm back. Just love how quick it is to change string notes on a headless. So, I won't be bending this time because, yeah, it still needs to stretch a bit. Maybe let's just give you some demos. Hope you like it. So I hope you've liked it, the whole video, the way that I use Serum FX. You can, of course, take it and use it the way you want. Maybe you don't like the sound of ring mod on the guitars, maybe you hate it, but you find loving only the diode 2 distortion before the amp. So yeah, just take it, experiment with it. If you have Serum, I think that's a nice way to start using it. Not only as a synth, but as a FX processor, if you haven't been doing that already. It also works great on vocals. I've used it on vocals so many times. Just take it, do whatever you want with it. I hope you enjoyed it, and hope to see you in the next video.